God is great. Welcome to the mighty YouTube. This is not live. I will be uploading this, but you can support me at $pastormichael7. This is the mighty YouTube, and I do some teachings live, and sometimes I do things that God lays in my heart to upload. This is the mighty YouTube. I'm also able to be reached at my website, pastormichael7.com. I'm also on Facebook Live, Pastor Michael D. McDuffie. I do invite you to join our ministry online, the Might 318, which means I'm looking for 318 people to support me on a monthly basis. And got little ways to go. You can reach out to President Krista B. Johnson on my Facebook page and ask how can you become a part of our M318 family. There's some benefits. I want to share with you, it is March, and I'm not giving the exact date, but it's a good day. March 2025 is between Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's all I'm going to say right now, because the date is not important right now, but I'm up. This will be uploaded sometime today. And being that this is the YouTube audience, I'm going to act like this is the first time I'm preaching this. I'm certified, not necessarily certified. All right, let me try it again. I messed that up. I'm authorized, not necessarily certified. I'm authorized, not necessarily certified. I'm going to leave a word here. I'm going maybe about 37 minutes, maybe a little less than that. And support me as Pastor Dallas. I'm Pastor Michael7. And I want to give you a way of looking at something that I think will be quite powerful. Did you know that there are a lot of successful people in our society? And some of those successful people have gone through the rank of college, business school, trade school. They went to school for 4 years, college, 2 years master, 2 years doctorate. So they spent about 7 years in education. They racked up probably $250,000 in student loans and still paying them back today. I've also met people who were medical doctors who went to college 4 years, medical school 4 years, and served under another doctor 4 years, so approximately 12 years. And they got close to $500,000 of student debt. And they finally have become a doctor and they own an office, and they spend those years paying back that debt. I want to give you something I want you to consider. And I'm already telling you that this is not something for everybody, but I have found out in my life that there are people who have become successful based on the authorization they walk in, and not necessarily based on someone's certification. Now let me explain to you about these two words, authorized and certified. Authorized means someone has commissioned you, empowered you, given you the right to do something. Authorized. Although these words can almost mean the same thing depending on how you use it, let me just tell you the way I'm using these two words. There's also two Greek words for the word authority, which is the word exousia in the Greek, and there's another word called dunamis. And both of them are Greek words, and they have an English word that you get from those Greek words. We get our word dynamite from dunamis, and we get our word authority from exousia. And they both represent a type of authority or a type of power. One can also mean strength, power, and ability, and the other one can stand for maybe the governor said something or the president said something, and those things must be respected because the president signed it into law, or the commissioners or the council signed it. And so even though, so the word authority carries different meanings. Now, when I use the term authorized and not necessarily certified, there are colleges and training schools and many people who would love to certify you. And it simply means when you tell me I went to Duke University and I graduated, you got a certain certification. When you say I belong to the Q Dogs, they have given you a certain certification. When you say I have graduated from a top Ivory college, that carries a certain certification. When you say I attended an HBC, a black college, maybe Howard, and you went there and got involved and you graduated, those colleges carry a certain level of certification. Now, to be certified is a good thing, is a wise thing, because sometimes when you get the proper certification, it opens doors. You get a good job. I've talked to someone that said they went for an interview, and when the boss found out that the person was an alpha or a kappa, they hired them on the spot. So there are certain groups, due to the certification, you get certain benefits. All right, now, to every group that certifies you, they have a requirement. They have something that you need to achieve. When people get an Emmy or they get some type of award on television, it means that they certify you as a great singer or a great actor, or you sing well, the song was this, or you was great. So certification does have its clout. It does has its power. Okay? Now, I've also met people who wasn't certified by nobody, but they carry great power and carry great clout. For instance, LeBron James did not attend college. He graduated, he left at 12th grade and went right to the NBA, if I'm correct. I think I am. All right? So no college certified him, but his ability allowed him to leap into the Cleveland Cavaliers, if I'm correct or not. Someone has to help me out with this one. And I found out that you can be quite successful in the world with a certain level of authority and not be certified by somebody or some organization. So there is an authority that somebody can walk in that is so effective that the owner of the company or the person that's giving out the money don't care for your certification, because they see your dynamite. They see your power. They see the level of authority that you walk in. Now, this is what I call a two-headed coin. And I've been in public service over 40 years. And I have ran into people who have to kiss the bishop's ring. They got to give $20,000 to the political party. They got to do somersaults and backflips just to get a seat at the table. And finally, someone gives you the ability to lead up a committee or be part of a political move. And you're so excited because you just got into this group you've been trying to get into. You just so soup, you hollering and screaming because you know that certain doors are going to open because this group certified you. Now here's when the trouble starts. After all the stuff you was thirsty to get inside of and be a part of, you walk into a group and there's a guy sitting next to you, sitting at the same table in the same type of chair you're sitting in. So you look over at the guy, let's call his name Raheem. Your name is Larry, his name is Raheem. So Larry's excited because Larry has gone through the hoops, did the somersaults, paid the money, paid the fee, did everything they wanted, and they finally allowed Larry to be a part of their certification. But next to me is a guy named Raheem. And so, Larry's kind of proud that he got in. He paid the price. He got his chest stuck out. Larry's looking over at Raheem and wondering, who are you? And Raheem says, my name is Raheem. And Larry says to Raheem, you're part of this group? He says, yes. He says, wow. So Larry don't say nothing. Larry kind of speechless because Larry kind of sort of been around Raheem. And he knows Raheem have not been through what he been through. Raheem not have gone through all the hoops and the somersaults. So, Larry a little bothered because he's trying to figure out why is Raheem in the room. So Larry don't want to seem too abrupt, too nasty. He just kind of asks, and Raheem, why are you here? Raheem, I'm here to attend the meeting. And then Larry got to find a way to ask Raheem, but you was invited? He said, yes. It's Raheem talking. Yes. Larry says, not to try to be nosy, but who invited you? And then Larry go to talking. Larry says, I just became a part of this group. I went through all the steps. I took the course. I paid my money. I outran 200 people to get in here. And if you don't mind me asking, how do you get in this room? And Raheem says, I was invited. And then Larry says, but how did you get in? Watch this, who certified you? Who let you get in here? How are you even in this room? Right? And Raheem does this one. I was authorized by the owner. And so Larry says, wait a minute. I never met the owner. I met the manager. I met the supervisor. And Raheem says, yeah, the owner doesn't live here. The owner lives in Russia. And the owner told the supervisor to let me in because he knows I got something to bring to the group. So, Larry is kind of taken back. And Larry says, wait a minute. How can I do that? Wait a minute. I spent all this money. I did hoops, somersaults. How do you just... And Raheem kind of shrugged his shoulders and says, I don't know. I was doing my thing out in Russia. And the owner says, I need you to go to New Jersey and be a part of this outreach group that I own. I'll tell my supervisor you're coming, and he'll let you come in and sit at the table. So Raheem explains to Larry, I didn't come the same way you came. I wasn't certified by your supervisor or your manager. The owner sent me. Whew. Wow. So Larry and Raheem are sitting at the same table, sitting in the same type of chair, carrying the same clout. And so we're trying to so Larry is mad, he's jealous, he's envious, because I'm trying to figure out, I did all of this to get to the table, and all you did was meet the owner, and the owner slid you in, then Larry go to being nosy. Did you pay $10,000? Raheem says, no. Did you go to the certified course for 4 years? Raheem says, no. Raheem said, why you asking all these questions? He said, I'm trying to figure out how you get... He said, now that chair you're sitting in, that's a very expensive... I'm sitting in an expensive chair. You got one. How'd you get that expensive chair? The owner told your supervisor to give it to me. So Larry, he can't seem like something is bothering him. So Larry keeps a straight face. And Larry is trying to figure out, how are you sitting at the same table with me with the same level of authority, and you wasn't even certified by the same people I'm certified? This is what Larry is thinking. But Larry got to be smooth. You can't sound like you're jealous and envy. Now, I'm explaining to you how life is. I'm telling you how life is. This is why some of you get in trouble. You're watching the mighty YouTube, $pastormichael7, and I'm encouraging some of you, it's when you get authorized to do something by God, or it's something that you do that is so explosive and so effective, people will bend the rules to use you. They won't require the same level of, watch this, the same level that they require from other people. They'll say, you are so explosive and you're so dynamic and you're so gifted, we don't even need you to go to college. You're so gifted and so talented, we don't even need you to go to college. Listen, we're going to hire you for our company and you don't even need to have finished high school. And so, Raheem is just saying, okay. Raheem just saying, okay. Now, Larry's bad because Larry kind of felt, I think that's unfair Then I had to go through all these hoops and somersaults and be certified to get in. And Raheem gets to sit with somebody else, and he's at the same level that I'm at. Now, what I just explained to you is how America works. I'm explaining to you how capitalism works. I'm explaining to some of you, even preachers, even those in the business world, there is a type of authority that some people walk in that the requirements are not needed. There is a owner of a business, watch this, who is at $1 million level. And because they see how you operate and how you move, they go get you and they bring you in, and you don't get an interview. You don't have to go to somersaults. You don't have to pay them money. They just bring you all the way in because they see something on you, a level of authority on you, that if they hire you, they know that their assets is going to jump from 1 million to 3 million because you at the table. Now, I'm not saying all this stuff is fair. I'm telling you that people tend to hire people who are most effective for the company or for the ministry. And sometimes the hula hoops you had to do to get in, and all the butt you had to kiss, and all the money you have to pay, Raheem didn't have to do that because Raheem had it going on. Now, I'm sharing this with you because if those of you who are Bible readers and Bible students, I want to drop a little Bible here. Did you know that Daniel was authorized in 3 different political administrations and was never certified by any of them? And what I mean by this, he didn't follow the script. He wasn't a Babylonian, he wasn't a Persian guy. He didn't come up through the ranks. He didn't do what everybody else did to get promoted. But because Daniel was authorized by God, I wouldn't care who the Persian was and who the Babylonian was. I don't care if it's Nebuchadnezzar. I don't care if it's King Darius, or I don't care if it's King Belshazzar. Doesn't matter, because I'm at the same table that you are. See, there's a type of authority and power that rests on certain people. Due to their dynamite explosive ability, the owner of the company will change the rules of the game to accommodate you. And these type of people get other folks upset. You turn over the apple cart because you didn't come up the way everybody else did. And what it does, it makes you an enigma. It makes you a riddle. It makes you say stuff like this. How do you get here? Who are you? How do you pull this off? And usually people who walk in this type of authority, they're not real braggadocious. They're not really that thirsty. It's almost like, I could even go home. It's not even important to me. But the owner made such a pull at you and wants you so bad, he changed all the rules to bring you to the table. Now, what I want to give you today, I want people to hear me. You're going to run into people who carry a certain level of authority that's not necessarily certified by the company. They didn't come up through the ranks. They didn't do it the way you did it. But the owner of the company or the person in charge says, I need this person. I got to have this person. You can carry a level of authority to the point that rules don't apply to you. You get hired and you weren't supposed to. You get a position and you don't have the title. You get promoted and you're trying to figure out, how is he or she doing this? The Bible calls it favor, calls it the anointing. The Bible calls it God's finger is on that person. Now let me warn some of you jealous folk, some of you envious, what I call some of you Larrys, because Larry don't like Raheem, because Raheem is in the same room at the same table that Larry is at. And Larry is thinking about all the stuff he had to go through to get there. And when Raheem began to study Larry and find out that Larry is the squirrel and mad and upset, Raheem starts going in, say, after all the stuff you did, I'm at the same table you are. So I need you to stop being jealous, stop being upset, and let's make this thing work together. But Larry's mad. How he get that? Man, you don't know how many times I've been in rooms with preachers, ministers, businessmen, employee at certain jobs. And all you got to do is listen to some of them talk, and you'd be like, why are you jealous and envious about somebody else? Why are you so upset that they got something and you don't have it? What is wrong with you? That's why I'm very leery of people who keep talking about other people all the time and talk about them all the time and talk with them all the time. I've been saying to myself, boy, you sound like a guy named Larry. Are you upset because they're gifted and talented and they have stuff that you want? Man, it gets to be sometimes lonely at the top when you're operating at a level of authority because the other person's not at that level, or they upset you at the same level that they at, and you didn't do what they had to do to get it. In other words, I didn't need their certification to get this. God gave it to me. The owner granted it because he saw something on me. Let me tell you something. There is a power that is on certain people that they don't need your certification. They don't need it. And they can actually quit and walk away from your job and go someplace else and get 3 times as much money. Here's a term they call it in the NBA, free agency. LeBron James carries such a clout and such a level that he can demand what he wants and get what he wants. That's why his son is playing in the NBA. There are certain people, not just sports, who are just so good at what God has given them that they walk in a certain level of authority, that they get stuff thrown at them that is not thrown at everybody else. I never forget when Jay-Z came to meet, I think, with the NFL commissioner. While one guy was protesting, Jay-Z was behind doors cutting deals. And there was people mad at Jay-Z because Jay-Z was cutting deals. They said, well, how come Jay-Z not protesting and boycotting? And Jay-Z says, somebody got to be at the table. He said, you guys go ahead and boycott. I'm going to go and talk and shift rules. And see, there's certain people that carry a level of authority that's not so thirsty for your certification. And they're not interested in getting thumbs up and being part of the group. It's just that you're just so good at what you do that it attracts the market. It makes people come for you. It makes people say, listen, can I meet with you? Can I talk to you? And you be turning people down because you be saying, God, why are y'all coming for me? Because somebody is observing your authority and already know you're not even certified to do what you do. But because you operate in such a high level of authority, it demands a market. You create your own market. Let me give you some more Bible, right? There was a guy in the Bible named Daniel. It's in the Bible, the 5th chapter of Daniel. And Daniel was born in as a slave boy for the land of Judah. And it would think that he was certified just as a slave. But because Daniel was so committed to Yahweh and doing what God said, God authorized him in the midst of other slaves. And Daniel was authorized to be promoted in 3 different administrations. And he was never certified by him. No one finally put him through a course. I mean, one thing what did he do? He knew what food to eat for 10 days, which turned into 3 years. Him and his 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, had a level of understanding and gift on them so explosive that Nebuchadnezzar automatically authorized him, although he didn't come up through the ranks of the Chaldeans. or the wise men group. So the wise men group was probably saying, how you gonna put Daniel and the 3 slave boys, all them slaves, on the wise men group? And Nebuchadnezzar probably said something like this, because I see something on them that I don't see on you. But we've been here all the time. We've been sitting around you. We grew up with you. And he says, look, I'm trying to run a kingdom. I'm trying to run a business. I appreciate the friendship, but I need someone who's going to increase my business. So I have decided to authorize Daniel and the 3 Hebrew boys to sit on my inner team. Now, I know you bothered by that. I know that bothers you. But you're going to have to swallow your pride, because I'm Nebuchadnezzar and I get what I want. And I do understand I am trying to rule and reign Babylon, but it sure feels good to have some Hebrew kids on my staff that I can rule over. Watch. Now watch. Daniel gets promoted in the book of Daniel chapter 1. Then when you get to Daniel 2, it happens again. Nebuchadnezzar get a dream that's so deep. He knew the dream was horrifying, but he couldn't interpret it. And then he couldn't remember it. And he asked all the other wise men on the team. He didn't include Daniel and the 3 Hebrew boys in the dream of Daniel chapter 2. He just did something like this. Listen, call a meeting. Now, when the meeting was called with the wise men group, Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was not included. And the scriptures don't say why it wasn't, but it leaves you to think, why wasn't they brought to that meeting? Because I don't think Nebuchadnezzar really wanted to include them, because he probably felt, yeah, I did promote them, but this issue, I need to talk with my own circle. I don't really want to bring these Hebrews in on it. But you know what happens when you are explosive and when you carry a certain level of authority? You'll end up in rooms that other folks that think you should be in. You'll be in places and spaces in front of faces that people will say, how are you in this room? You're not the right color. You're not even a part of our political squad. How are you even? See, that's because Daniel is so good. Let me encourage some of you watching here today that sometimes when you're not included and you're not certified, don't let that bother you. Just stay faithful and keep doing what God authorized you to do. Because what God will do when you're authorized by Him, He will make your gift make room for you. Even if the people around you don't want to certify you, don't want to give you your props, and don't want to celebrate you. Just stay committed. Thank you, Lord. So 61. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Just stay committed to doing what God authorized you to do. Now watch, right? In the 2nd chapter of Daniel, Daniel interprets the dream. No, reminded Nebuchadnezzar what he forgot about the dream. Remind him of the dream and interpret the dream. And did it better than everybody else. Talk about authority. Talk about authorization. And Daniel didn't need the certification for the other wise men. He didn't need Nebuchadnezzar. He just says, I'm going to go to God. I'm going to get the answer. And he took Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, his 3 friends, and all 4 of them authorized to run to heaven and downloaded the answer to the dream, interpret the dream, and then went before the king and gave the king what he wanted. And the king was blown away. And the king said, you know what? I'm going to give you another promotion. You're going to help run the works of my hands. And then this is what Daniel does. I call him Rahim. Daniel says, listen, I can't really do this well. I need Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I need a little nepotism here. I need you to take my 3 friends because I need them to roll with me so that we together can help run your organization most effectively and most efficiently. And Nebuchadnezzar granted him his political favor. Hope y'all getting some of this. Whoa. So there is an authority that you can walk in that doesn't necessarily need everybody's certification. There is a clout that you can carry that will make people say, how the heck did you get here? What in the world? See, that's called God's favor. It's called God's anointing. It's called, I don't really need your certification because God has authorized me. Now watch. I wouldn't mind the certification. I wouldn't mind being accepted. I wouldn't mind being set apart, and sometimes that happens. But I've been alive long enough, a lot of times it don't happen because you operate outside the system. But who cares if you operate outside the system if the owner of the system keep using you and pulling on you? What do you care if the supervisor, the manager, or the fellow employees are jealous of you? You are working close to the king. See, Nebuchadnezzar is the key. That's why sometimes, now when you go work at a job, man, try to find out who's the one that's in charge. I'm telling you, man, it's the game, man. Find out who got the clout and get with them. I'm telling you, man, and work your way down. Because a lot of times, man, we get mad at people, and I'll be saying, they don't even got the clout. They don't even get to call the shot. What you bother about them for? Right? Watch this one, right? Watch this one. When Daniel authorized Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to be his 3 vice presidents, we get to Daniel chapter 3. You know what happens when you start walking at a level of authority that they don't think you should be certified? What people do, they come for you. They want to find something you do wrong. They want to try to throw you under the bus because they're very jealous of the authority that you have been granted or given, and because you didn't jump through hoops like they did. And guess what? And they wasn't even chosen. You was. So you actually bend the rules. This is outside of the norm. That's because your authority is dynamite. It carries clout. Say it with me, right? So, the 3rd chapter of the book of Daniel, I think Nebuchadnezzar is trying to exert his authority because Daniel and them seem to be ruling and reigning. So he builds this statue 90 feet tall, 10 feet wide, and he passes this legislation that when they play the music, you got to bow down at the image of the beast, right? Somehow, Daniel was not included. He could have been out on a trip or taking care of administration business, who knows? But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had said, and when everybody, when the music is played, Nebuchadnezzar said, everybody must bow down at the image of the beast, right? But why everybody doing that? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they're not bowing. They're not bowing. Now, I don't know how this is when everybody's bow, how he know everybody bow, but somehow, it could be like some type of sound, a siren, or music goes off, and everybody got to stop and put their face to the ground. And it looked like that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was just carrying on governmental business. Somebody saw this, right? The Chaldeans, and went back and reported it to Nebuchadnezzar. Now, you know why they went and reported it? Because they got player hating juice. They mad and upset because how these Jewish slave boys from Judah come in our neck of the woods and get promoted, making money, being successful. How dare you come into the NBA as a rookie and dominate? Because one time they freeze Michael Jordan out at the All-Star game because they're jealous of Michael Jordan. See, I'm telling you, jealousy is a mess, man, especially when you see somebody walking in something and you want it and you can't have it. That stuff could stir up problems, right? So it was the Chaldeans that rushed to the king and said, those boys you gave a raise to, those boys you exalted, Shadrach, Meshach. Some folk who player haters, they tattletale, they go back and tell, those, when you was playing their music, they don't bow down, and you promoted them. That's the McDuffie translation. You promoted them, you gave them power, and you gave them all that power, and they didn't even take your certification. They're not even Babylonians, and you gave them all. See, that's I put all the stuff in. Yeah. Crazy thing is that the king, he trying to He trying to satisfy the status quo. He said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They brought him, bring me the boys, right? Bring them to me. And he said, and I quote, he said, uh, I heard that you guys didn't bow. It's now, I'm going to give you another opportunity because I don't want you to embarrass you in front of my people now. I granted you great power and great authority. I certify you. And when the music played, I need you to bow. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did this, and watch this, and said, ain't no use playing the music because we're not going to do it. We don't bow like that. We only bow to Jehovah, Yahweh, Adonai. You already know this. You know we Jewish. We do not give up our Torah like that. We don't do that. You do that. I don't do that. All right. I don't do that. See, that's how you talk. You know, when you understand that your authority comes from God. Listen, I gotta go. If you love this YouTube, show me. Support our ministry. $ pastormichael7. And PayPal address is supermike777@gmail.com. And you can support us. Thank you for watching my YouTube, Reverend McDuffie. And the name of this message is Authorized, Not Certified by You. All right. Don't get mad because I'm authorized and not certified by you. All right. God bless. Thank you so much. Reverend McDuffie.